You know, it's funny. I think when you like graduate drama school, you get really into the research thing, and you see like what are the imports and exports of Budapest, and you really those like things become really important, and then you start to realize that what you go after the things that will help you. You become more discerning, I think. So what helped me was learning more about Molnar, the writer, and his past and his history, and he was incredibly prolific, and he was a newspaper man and a writer of comedies, and neurotic. Like, he was crazy. I mean, in a great way. He was brilliant. But kind of getting into his head has really kind of opened the play up for me, cracked it, and
especially for you, because you're arguably playing
him
Molnar.
in a way,
I
yeah.
mean,
because he was in an asylum because of a woman that his wife
married,
who cheated on him with someone rich and famous. I don't know.
At least one.
Yeah, at least one. Yeah. And he wrote it from an asylum, so they say. Wow. So learning about him, and he was a big deal. Like, he's really a lost legend. I mean, he wrote, Lilium, which was Carousel, but he also, like, in New York, everyone was doing his plays in the teens. Right. That was the most revealing thing to me. But we had great pictures of the opera house. Like, the set is based on the actual opera house that's in Budapest, and you find the things that help you.
Yeah, I'm we've talked about this. I'm so not a research person. I am so old school. It's like, where do I stand? What are my lines? You know what I mean? And I will barely look at you, and I will not relate to you as an actor, and I will just do my lines, I will get my laugh, and I will get off. And that's my kind of view of acting, which is a little sad on a certain level, but it's worked for 30 years. But I do think one of the things that I actually learned from this process is, and this is something that I really enjoyed about working with Finn and Sarah and Gregory and Richard, is, and it is different, and I did have to approach things differently. Because I do so much comedy in New York, and my own performances and whatnot, it's a very different process. It's much more laugh-based, and I am a laugh whore, believe me. But you have to approach things differently when you are actually working with other people. You might want to look at them occasionally, and you have to, I had to learn a little German, and I actually had to do this, and I actually really did research, and it did make the experience so much richer. And what Finn was talking about with Molnar is very, very poignant. And but it also added to the sort of frisson of the whole situation, and it's a much richer experience when you actually do you don't have to go crazy and micromanage the research, but I think a broad understanding of the time, the situation is very enriching. So, yeah.
I mean, I went straight into the imports and exports. I mean,
she's Miss Research.
I mean, my parents are university professors, and actually it was incredibly helpful. I mean, 1910 was a time from literature and aviation that the whole world was turning upside down, and so to be able, when I first read the play, I thought, how does this woman believe she can get away with this? And the answer to me was in a lot of just the historical and kind of socio-political changes that were going on. Anything is possible. But, beyond that, to me, it was more of a cultural aesthetic question. The Luntz version of this play was a bit of a drawing room comedy, and it was very Western European and very English and kind of prim and all of that. And, I'm Hungarian and Czech, and we're not like that. And I didn't really, you know what I mean? I don't know if there's any Eastern Europeans in the house, but we don't go like this. And, I didn't really realize, forgive me, this is going to sound, feel free to hit me for this. It's probably the most pretentious thing I'll ever say. I didn't understand Chekhov until I read War and Peace. And there is an Eastern European dynamic of they are constantly in tears and laughing, and there's an intensity to that. And that, in research-wise, that I think was probably the most important thing to bring to the play for me.